name's Heather and welcome to week 3. I hope you've enjoyed the yoga posture practice so far. So today we're going to look at sprinter asana to see if we can build our yoga posture practice up to practicing a new asana. So traditionally we start our yoga posture practice laid down. So let's find ourselves in a nice comfortable shavasana. And just finding some ease all the way down the length of the spine. Just thinking about real lengthening. You might need to have a nice fidget around to find that posture where you're comfortable. And don't feel that your hands have to be glued to the sides. You can just move them away. And allow time for your breath to settle. Allow time for your body to settle. Allow time for you on your mat. Allow time for your mind just to feel at ease. And as you breathe in, allow the natural oxygen to flow down the body, down the arms, down the legs. And as you breathe out, if you can almost allow the muscles to let go of the bones and for gravity to do its job, to almost feel yourself sinking into your own mat. And allow your breath to settle. Allow yourself to settle. So what I'd like you to think about is that you have a front, side and back and almost a back bottom ribs. And what I want you to do is to almost allow the air to go to the front, the side, the back and the back bottom ribs. So you're not going to force the air there, but you're going to channel it. So it's almost like it's finding new areas of your chest cavity. So as you breathe into the front, the side, the back, and the back bottom ribs. And as you exhale, exhale from the back bottom ribs to the back, to the side, to the front. Now this pathway can sometimes take a little bit of practice, so just feel that sometimes if you manage to get the air to the front and to the side, and that's enough, then exhale there, because sometimes these pathways and these practices can take some time. So let's see how we go on. I'll do one with you and then I'll let you have some self-inquiry. So just breathing into the front, the side, to the back bottom ribs, and then you're going to empty or exhale from the back bottom ribs to the side, to the front, on the exhale. So I'll let you have a go at this 5 times on your own. So breathing in and breathing out is 1 time. Off you go. And if you can just gently let go of that practice, just finish whichever round you're on. And then if you can, just subtly manoeuvre your feet so the knees are vertical and gently opening the eyes. So what we're going to do tonight is a cross crawl which takes some coordination. So what you're going to do is to gently manoeuvre the knee and the hand at the same time, so just breathing in. If you want to use the breath, and breathing out on the exhale. If you don't want to use the breath, if you can just imagine your hands and your legs just floating up gently to the ceiling and then coming back down again. Just nice, easy, slow, gentle, joint sensitivity. Just moving the arms and the legs. Just finding some movement in there. It's nice and soft and nice and subtle. Taking time to find some movement in quite a few of the joints. And then once we've got our one hand and foot up in the air, just slowly start to turn them in one direction and then try changing that direction so it's nice and soft, and then floating that back down and changing over, so you've got a different arm and a different leg, and then just a nice slow movement into the ankle and into the wrist, and then allow that to just to float back down. And then thinking about the back of the head, press the back of the head onto the floor and release it, and just pressing and releasing and pressing and releasing, and seeing how that feels in the neck, just adding that little bit of pressure behind the head. And then in a different plane, as if you've got a tiny line just in front of your nose. Just make that little line up and down with your nose, and a little bit side to side with your nose, so you get some subtle movements into the neck joint. Lovely. And then raising both arms and legs now, as if you've got a big beach ball between the hands and the feet. Just start to bring about a little bit of a turning motion. So we're getting some turning, but with this, because we don't want to go all the way over, you've got to kind of hold it there, and that encourages a natural bit of a twist just inside the lumbar and thoracic vertebra, just to hold that securely. There'll be a very subtle movement in there. And if you can, just move that back to centre. So all we're doing is just rolling from one side, but making sure we're not rolling all the way over, which allows all of our hands, feet, everything's got to really work together to make sure you don't roll all the way over onto your side, but you're maintaining this beach ball that's just in your arms. So just really lovely subtle movement, just rocking from side to side, trying to keep quite a rounded spine, but a lengthened spine. So there's a real pathway of movement and joint sensitivity to explore with this one. So just finding time just to move from one side to the other. Find that real subtle movement, then back to centre, and allow your hands to float back down. Okay, this one, what I'd like you to do is let me demonstrate, and then you can try and have a go at it. So what I'd like to do is to bring yourself onto your side and bring one hand a little bit further than the other, so I've got a nice long reach. And then you might want to only go so far the first time, and then reach again. And on the second time, it might be that your hand will go to the floor, and reach again. And on the third time, if your hand and your shoulder makes it to the floor, allow your knees to join in, for your other hand just to scooch right away across, until you're all the way over. And then starting again. So I'll just demonstrate this way around again. If you want to join in now because you know what you're doing, that's fine. So just nice long reach, come into centre, nice long reach. You might allow your hand or your arm just to reach the floor. And a nice long reach again. And this time, finding a little bit of twist, allowing your knees to join in to start the practice again the other way around. You've got a nice reach across the body. So this allows a lot of self-inquiry to make sure each time you're preparing yourself ready for the next nice subtle movement. It's going all the way. So now I feel ready now just to move all the way across the floor to start my practice again. So I'm going to try this on both sides again. So it's just a nice reach. So each time you're only really going as far as you want to go. It might be different every time. You might not want to roll on the third time. You might want to just do it another couple of times yourself. Just see how you feel. And then once you're ready and you feel like you're even on both sides, just come back to semi-supine position, and from there come to a seated position where we're ready to start the next part of our yoga practice. So just starting from here, think about nice long lengthened spine all the way down. And let's go into child's pose to here. And just take a few moments for yourself. Before we lengthen out the arms. So nice long lengthened arms. Into our prone before pulling back up into cat. Now we found our cat the last couple of weeks, so let's see if we can manage to remember. Hands underneath the shoulders, hips just above the knees, feet grounded into the floor, nice long lengthened spine. So let's just try just one, if you need to, just have a few goes of pushy and sinky to try and find that nice neutral central spine. So let's push back into prone and pull back up into cat. So let's try just pushing back into prone and pulling back up into cat. So just take time, just a nice pulling and pushing motion and pulling and pushing. Okay, and last week we did find a side bend, and this week we're going to need a side bend. So let's think about the one that we did last week where you're going to have your armpit and your hip, just a subtle movement towards each other. So it's like a little piece of string, just pulling on each one. So we've got a nice side bend. Just try that way, just a few times. It's more self-inquiry than anything. At the same time, you're trying to keep a supported cat. So then let's try that and the other way. Just a nice movement, just a subtle movement. Nice and soft. Nice and slow. Okay? And then just to bring about a little bit of an extra side bend, let's try moving our hands just out to the side and seeing how that feels. And you can just feel that just right down there and then bringing them back to centre. So they don't have to move very far, but you kind of feel A little bit of a side bend. Just bringing that out. Just gently manoeuvring the hands from one position to the other. And then back to our central position. So pushing back down and pulling back up. Okay? So when we're ready, let's practice what we've done already. Tipping the feet up, hinging the feet back, pelvis nice and high, knees soft, walking our hands back towards the feet, into a shallow squat, hands to heart centre, bringing the hands up above the head, allowing them to float back down towards the legs. Now let's find a nice strong Tadasana. So spreading the feet out in the standing pose, allowing the knees to be nice and soft, shoulders nice and easy, bringing the hands to heart centre, and we're just going to find a twist now, just inside, just standing twist, nice and soft and subtle, just lovely, standing twist. Trying to keep the hips still, not moving very much at all, but feeling the twist just inside the lumbar spine, just nice and subtle, and bringing that back to centre. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take ourselves down so that our right knee's on the floor, the left knee's in front. And from bringing the hands to heart centre, we're just going to breathe in and take the hands up and then bring that back down again. And breathe in and allow the hands to float up and come back down again. And breathe in and back down. So now we're ready just to try that twist again, which is probably slightly easier than when we're standing because our hips are now still. And then we'll switch legs. I'm just going to say as well, if you do suffer from knees that are a bit sore, you can pop a bit of the mat underneath your knee, or you can go and grab yourself a cushion. It's up to you. Okay? So now I'm going to change my knees over. So I'm just going to do a nice reach, just reaching, and bring that back to centre, and a nice reach, and back to centre. All the time thinking of lengthened arms, nice long spine, conscious of practicing with real ease and kindness. And one more time. And back to centre. And then this time we're going to try the twist again, taking the hands there. So this time it's a little bit easier to isolate the hips because we're in a kneeling pose. Sometimes harder when you're full standing. It's nice and soft, subtle movements. And then taking the hands back down, let's take that to standing and just ease off into the knees. So we're now going to go into our sprinter pose. So to make sure we're ready for this, what you need to do to start with is to make sure you've got two fists, one between the ankle and between the other knee. So you've got two fists solidly together, and that gives you an idea of spacing when we go into sprinter. So I'm going to do that now, facing that sideways on, remembering that my left foot's forward, so the next time I do it, my right foot forward. I can now put those two fists between there and know that there's a good space. So from there, I'm going to take my hands back and I'm going to go up into sprinter. So I'm going to do that again, just to double check, so it's like a self-check. Hands there, hand just slightly in front of the foot, toe tucked under to go into sprinter. And let's do that one more time together, so you just feel secure of the pathway. Hands out in front, toe tucked under, into sprinter. Okay? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to demonstrate the rest of the posture. You can do it with me if you want to, or you can wait and do it with me the second time. It's up to you. So my hands are there, I've checked. Up into sprinter. I've now got a nice soft knee at the front. Extended knee at the back. If I want to keep that soft, I can do. I can now put my right hand onto my hip and just have a look over my right shoulder. If I feel comfortable enough, I can raise that right arm, so I get a really nice twist in my torso. At the same time, I feel supported. I'm going to take a few breaths, and just like last week when we're coming out of our posture, making sure we're coming out the way we went in. So let's try and do that one all together. So checking for starters, where the fists are, taking the hands out in front, going up into our sprinter, keeping the knee nice and soft, hand onto the hip, looking over your shoulder, then taking the hand up and above, and taking a few breaths. And then coming back out the way we went in. Okay? So let's try that one more time on this leg, and then we'll swap over, and then we'll try and do it again without me saying anything. So we're just going to go up into our sprinter, keep that knee soft, hand to there, gentle twist, and arm up into the air. A nice, strong, inverted balance that's well supported. Okay, so I have my left foot forward there, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to move this round, so I've now got my right foot forward. Double check again. 2 fists between each leg. I'll demonstrate once. If you want to do it with me, you can do, and then we'll do another 2 times anyway. So making sure the foot's tucked under, we're pushing back, nice long leg. Remember, you can keep your knees soft, you don't have to lock them out. Hands onto hip, extend that upper arm. If you just want to leave your hand on your hip, you can do. It's up to you. It's personal choice. Hand back onto hip, back down to the ground, and back out of sprint. So just take a few seconds. Remember, passive yoga, if you need to just stop and rest, that's absolutely lovely. Take time and practice as you want to. So let's go into this one together now, tucking the toe under, pushing back into sprinter. If you want to then make it a bit more challenging, you can straighten out the legs. But my advice is just to try and keep them nice and soft, don't lock out the knees. Taking the hand onto the hip, moving the arm up, but if you want to leave it on the hip, you can do. And allow the head just to turn nice and subtly to one side. Taking the hand back down to the ground, and coming out of it. Okay? Let's do that once more with me, giving instructions. Remember, check your space between your ankle and your knee. Gently going up into sprinter, making sure the weight's even and distributed. Making a nice long lengthened spine before gradually moving back out. Okay, let's try that once more time on each side, and I'm just going to demonstrate. I'm not going to say anything. Okay, lovely. Well done everybody. If you're just finishing off your practices, that's fine. What we're going to do is going to make our way back down onto the mat using the moon posture. And salutations, so breathing in, keeping the knees nice and soft, and breathing out, hands down to the mat into a shallow squat. Breathing in, bringing the hands up, and breathing out, back to heart centre. And breathing in, coming back down onto the mat, into a forward fold. Leg crawl the hands back out in front. Nice long arms supporting the heavy pelvis. Soft knees into cat. Pushing back down into prone. And from prone, just finding a happy Balasavasana, child's pose. And taking a few seconds. And from here, just easing down from our practices, feet vertical, just into our V-sit, which allows time just to ease back down. If you can find a lovely, long horizon line, gently bear crawling the hands out in front into restful animal pose, just forward fold. And then easing that back before changing sides. Finding that horizon line, gently bear crawling the hands out in front to forward fold. And pushing back to a seated position. Before going back into our traditional Shavasana pose, if you need to put on some warm socks or a jumper, or find a blanket or something, that's absolutely fine. Find yourself into a comfortable, lying down, extended position. And allow yourself to feel at ease. As you breathe in, allow the oxygen just to flow down the body. And as you breathe out, allow your muscles to soften. Allow yourself to let go. And allow your mind to let go. And gently just closing the eyes. And just breathe. And just allow everything to feel at ease. And we're going to do a short rotation of consciousness. You can think about a really subtle light that's warm inside our left ear. That light and warmth is going to travel into our left forehead and down the left cheek and into the left hand side of the throat. A warm and easy light sensation travelling down the neck, down the left chest cavity, down the left arm, first, second, third, fourth finger and thumb. A warm and easy light and sensation moving down the whole left hand side and into the left tummy, down the left thigh, the left knee, the left shin, the left foot, first, second, third finger, fourth toe and big toe. Until the whole left hand side of the body can feel a really ease and lovely sensation. Turning our attention to the right hand side, until that warm sensation can be felt in the throat, and into the eye socket, and into the back of the head. Moving its way down the right hand side of the neck, into the right chest cavity, down the right arm, first, second, fourth finger and thumb. into the left chest cavity and into the right back bottom ribs, into the right hand side of the pelvis, down the right thigh, and all the way into the right foot, first, second, fourth toe and big toe, until the whole right hand side feels at ease and at warmth. And then that warm golden sensation starts to bind both the left foot and the right foot, so they're joined, the left thigh and the left shin and the right shin, the left thigh and the right thigh, into the left and right hand side of the tummy and into the stomach, and into the left and right hand chest cavity, the left and right hand, upper arms, elbows, hands, first, second, fourth finger and thumb, until the whole body feels a warm, easy, glowing sensation. Into the left and right neck, binding the left and right chin, cheeks, eye sockets, forehead, until the whole body feels that it is bound together in a rotation of consciousness, to feel at ease and to feel warm and to feel relaxed. And then just gently returning your attention to the breath. And on the inhale, allowing the oxygen to flow down the body. And on the exhale, allowing to bring some subtle movements back into the body, just the elbows and the wrists, and the ankles and the knees. You might want to bring about a nice, easy, rocky motion into the spine. You might want to have a nice stretch, pandiculation as it's called, like a cat. And then just gently rolling over onto your right hand side. And from there, just slowly coming to a seated position of your choice, and finding ease in the shoulders, and bringing the hands to heart centre, and then breathing in, nice big breath in, and breathing out. Let's do that 2 more times. Breathing in and breathing out, and breathing in and breathing out. Thank you very much for practicing with me today. It's been a lovely class. Hopefully see you next week. Namaste. Have a nice day.